Hey kiddos, welcome to our air test prep. So you should have these papers with you, so if you can make sure that you get these out, pause the video and then get these out for me. These are going to help you do really well on our air test that we have here in April. This is not super fun, but it's really important that you pay attention. So we're going to go ahead and read the story together. Again, make sure that you have your papers out so you can follow along with us. All right, this story is called Watching in the Wilds by Charnan Simon. Jane Goodall knows how to watch. For more than 40 years, she has watched a group of chimpanzees in Gombe Park in Africa. What she has seen has changed the way scientists think about animals and people. Jane was 26 years old when she first went to Gombe. It was 1960, and no one had ever studied chimpanzees in the wild. Jane's plan was simple. She would travel to Africa and find some chimpanzees. Then she would sit quietly and watch them go about their lives. When she arrived in Gombe, Jane heard chimpanzees calling to each other across the valleys. She found half-eaten fruits under trees where they had fed. But she didn't see the chimpanzees themselves. They were shy. Whenever Jane came close, they ran away. Jane was discouraged, but she didn't give up. If the chimpanzees didn't want her to come close, she would watch them from a distance. Every day, they woke up before dawn. She put on clothes that blended in with the jungle and climbed to the top of a high, rocky ledge. Using binoculars, she sat and looked at the chimpanzees, hour after hour after hour. Other people might have been bored. Not Jane. She loved watching the chimpanzees feeding in fig trees and drinking from streams. She saw how they greeted each other with hugs and kisses. She smiled at the baby chimps perched on their mothers' backs or sat cradled in their laps. Jane took notes on everything she saw. She wrote about how at night each chimp made a cozy nest high in the treetops. She watched the chimps bend branches and tuck in small twigs. She saw mothers curl up with their babies and then sit back to make a pillow from a handful of leaves. When the chimp left their nest in the morning, Jane climbed up to try them out for herself. Slowly, the chimpanzees became used to Jane. They let her come closer and closer. Jane began naming the chimps she recognized. David Graybeard had a silvery beard with a calm manner. Old Flo was ugly with a big nose and raggedy ears, but she was a wonderful mother. Mr. McGregor reminded Jane of the gardener in the tale of Peter Rabbit. Turn your page. At the time, scientists thought that animals being studied should be given numbers, not names. But Jane didn't agree. She saw that the chimpanzees had real personalities. It made sense to give them real names. Today, many scientists name the animals they study in the wild. One day, Jane saw something really exciting. David Graybeard was sitting by the resin earth termite mound. He poked a long grass stem into a hole in the mound. Then he pulled the stem out and ate the crunchy termites that clung to it. Jane was amazed. David Graybeard was using a grass stem as a tool. Until then, scientists thought that only people used tools. Jane saw the chimps using other tools too. Once a big brother chimp grabbed a handful of leaves to wipe his little brother's messy nose. Many times chimps use crumpled leaves as sponges to soak up water to drink from hollow logs. Over the next 40 years, Jane wrote books about her exciting discoveries. She learned that chimpanzees live in close family groups and make friendships that last a lifetime. They hunt and they teach their children. They can be happy or sad or angry or afraid. Chimps are more like people than any other living creature. Studying them has helped scientists understand our own place in nature. And it all started with one woman who knew how to sit quietly and watch carefully. Glossary: chimpanzees, a kind of ape. A glossary is a place that you can find words that you do not know. So for instance, if you did not know what a chimpanzee was, you can find the definition: a kind of ape. Okay? And then there's a picture that's kind of hard to see of the ape there. All right, kiddos, thank you so much for following along with me.